USA Warrior Stories is a not-for-profit organization designed to record, archive, and share videos of veteran stories, to help veterans make a connection with one another and to help us all better understand their sacrifices for our freedoms.
USA Warrior Stories, Earl Granville, take one.
Let's do this. My name is Earl Granville. I was a staff sergeant in the Pennsylvania Army National Guard as an infantryman with tours to Bosnia and Iraq and Afghanistan, serving 2000 to 2010. So I was born in Carbondale, Pennsylvania, just outside of Scranton. What made me join the military was my twin brother, Joe. So Joe wanted to join some type of military service, and he asked me what I thought of joining. And the truth is, to be told, I thought to myself, man, I don't want to join the military. There's no way I was going to do that. However, the incentive that got me to join was a free education. I was making it about me. What can I get out of this? Joe and I graduated high school, had a good summer, and we landed in Fort Benning, Georgia for basic training September 1st, 2001. We all know what happened 11 days later. And when those towers got hit, ladies and gentlemen, I gotta say, I just remember looking at my brother, like, just pissed off. Like, I didn't join the military to go to war. You know what I mean? Like, because how selfish I was and how ridiculous I sounded at the time. I had a lot of growing up to do, basically. Well, there was no turning back at this point. Joe and I graduated basic training, became infantrymen, and being that we're guard, we went back home. And I was looking at moving forward, possibly like looking at colleges, the whole reason I joined. However, we got orders for Bosnia. Now, if anybody out there is familiar with the Bosnian conflict, 92 to 95, there was a genocide happening in that part of Eastern Europe. And it got so bad in 1995, NATO forces stepped in to stop it from happening. Read the book, Love Thy Neighbor by Peter Maas, or watch the movie In the Land of Blood and Honey. Very graphic, viewer discretion advised, but you get an idea of what was going on in that time period in the 90s. Now, the time I got there in 2002, there was real no threat to armed forces whatsoever. It was pretty easy deployment, nice and relaxing. So, came home from that tour after 7 months, March of 2003. I enrolled into college, the whole reason I joined the military in the first place. I got 2 semesters in at Lackawanna College when we got a warning order for Iraq, but it was a volunteer mission. So we were deployed with the 109th Infantry in Bosnia, and anybody that was in Bosnia with the 109th, they didn't have to go on this Iraq deployment. But if they choose to, they can. So I was like, I'm not gonna go. My brother, on the other hand, he wanted to go. So I thought to myself, man, God forbid if something happens to Joe over there, here I am at home partying in college. Like, what's that going to be like? So I decided to put my big boy pants on and deploy. And I have to tell you, it was the best decision I ever made. When I first joined the military, I made it all about me. What can I get out of this? Going to Iraq, becoming an NCO, I saw the big picture. Look, this isn't about me. It's about us. Being a part of something bigger than myself. And it's funny, you think about it over there at the time. This is 05, 06, I was in Iraq. And how society was looking at Iraq at the time. Should we be there? Should we not be there? And all this negative looks at the Iraq conflict. But in reality, that didn't matter to I feel like the troops on ground. What mattered to me was the people around me and getting through this together. Because my opinion does not matter. What matters right now is the men and women around me. I also matter to them. And that's a big picture, I feel like, in those moments when you're deployed. Well, we came home from Iraq, 2006. I enrolled back into college and got my associate's degree. When we got another warning order, another volunteer mission, and this was for Afghanistan, for anybody who was in Iraq, they didn't have to go. But I raised my hand right away. I thought, I just graduated college, this might be a catalyst and something else. And when I come home from this, we'll decide what's next. Well, Joe asked me not to go. And I thought, dude, I'm going, man. I'm sorry, I'm cutting this cord. Joe now has a family, and that's his priority. So he can't just volunteer for things anymore. Well, on this deployment, we're part of the Provincial Reconstruction Team, or PRT for short. And the PRT's job was working with local village elders or local government, helping rebuild infrastructure in Afghanistan. And my job, my platoon's job, we were the security force for the core PRT. Core PRT was made up of civil affairs officers, U.S. civilian engineers, and we were their escort and security wherever they had their meetings or where a building was being done. Put them in our vehicles, transport them there, pull security, put them back in our vehicles, head back home. Pretty cut and dry mission. Well, everyone we escorted, they all sit in the back seat, except for one individual. This gentleman, his name is Major Scott Hagerty. And Major Hagerty is from Stillwater, Oklahoma, in the Army Reserves as a civil affairs officer. And he liked to be in charge of the vehicle he was in. I saw on this 4-day mission he was going to be in my vehicle. I knew he was going to take my job. Hey, you want to be vehicle commander? So be it, dude. Tell you what, I'm going to be your gunner. And I put my gunner, Craig Rains, the day off. Not the day off, but I put him as a passenger in another vehicle. And it was a 4-day mission. And the final day, we had to take a different route back to Fob Zorma to fuel our vehicles up. And on the way back, we had to take this route we took, we were a little unfamiliar with, but the area was, just looking at it, it was a very nice, beautiful area from everything we saw in the past before. Right? So I thought to myself, man, who's watering their grass in Afghanistan? This is beautiful here. The next thing I remember, I saw nothing but black. And you know when you put your head underwater and the noise you hear, it's like that faint noise, like when you clog your ears like that, the noise you hear. That's the best way to describe what I was hearing at the time. And I felt the momentum. And I remember saying to myself, what the hell is going on right now? The next thing I remember, moments later, open my eyes, big beautiful sky. It's like 2:30 in the afternoon over there. Man, what's going on? Holy jeez. My legs are backwards and I'm full of blood. To the left of me, the Humvee is completely ripped to shreds. We just hit an IED. All I wanted to do was assess the situation. I couldn't stand up. I didn't have a working weapon on me. I heard my buddy Joe Vota yell, "Get him in a body bag." Okay, people are killed. Are we under attack right now? Are we getting ambushed? What exactly? I don't hear gunshots right now. So the next person to get to me was Lieutenant Naylor, and he had a look of awe on his face. And as he came to me, he said, "Earl, I'll be right back. I have to check on everybody else." And the next words that came out of my mouth, I regret saying it as he ran away, because I don't know how he would feel by it, hearing this. But I said to him, "Don't let me die alone." I kind of assumed that was it. Shortly after, the medic got to me. Eric Jones, tech sergeant in the Air Force. We call him Doc Jones. Doc started working on my wounds, and I asked him, "Doc, how's everybody else doing?" "They're doing fine. They're working on them. We're going to get them all out of here." Doc puts a tourniquet on me, puts a pressure dressing on me. They put me on a litter. They carry me over to an MRAP for cover. And when they carried me over, they walked me right past 2 body bags. And looking at the body armor, I knew exactly who it was. It was the remains of Major Scott Hagerty, the gentleman who took my seat that day, which is why I'm still here, and Specialist Derek Holland of Wind Gap, Pennsylvania, who was driving the vehicle. Derek was only 20 years old. As they were working on my wounds, they put some quick clot on me to finally stop the bleeding. Medevac chopper, I heard it coming in. They pop the red smoke, and the Black Hawk lands. And they carry me in my litter to the MRAP. So the Black Hawk took us to Bagram Air Base. The ambulance was waiting there, and it loaded us up on the ambulance. It took us the whole 1/8 of a mile to the entrance of the hospital. And as they took us off, they took us in to assess our wounds and see what was next. Doctors came in and they said, we have to do surgery on your right hip immediately. Doctor comes in later that day and says, we're going to have to amputate your left leg, but we think we can save your right. I'm like, Doc, you do what you got to do. And I felt pretty, like, it's not like I was happy this happened, but like, you got to remember, things could have been 10 times worse. So as we move forward, I had more surgeries on my right leg, and I finally got the green light to come back to the States, Walter Reed Army Medical Center. And this is going to be my home for a while. And my time at Walter Reed, being there in ICU on the third day, I finally got the green light for my parents and my family to come down and visit. And one by one, they would visit me in the ICU. First my mom, then my dad, then one of my other siblings, and then finally Joe. And Joe was, he said to me at one point, I should have just gone with you. I'm like, gone with me, dude. Like, you could have been killed. Like, don't think of it that way. I'm here. You gotta remember, if I was escorting any other person in that vehicle that day, I would have been in that seat and I would have been killed. So what do I have to complain about? And my time at Walter Reed, I felt like it was pretty good. Like, learned how to walk again, learned how to snowboard again. I was introduced to other sports like disabled ice hockey called sled hockey. And I was getting my independence. And I ended up being there for 18 months, made great relationships, found this new way of life and embraced it. And I was dating a girl back in Pennsylvania, and she had an apartment in DuPont. And we're getting ready for a black tie event that her place of employment is hosting. It's a week before Christmas in 2010. I get out of the shower, I put my prosthetic on and my suit pants and just a t-shirt before I get full dressed. All of a sudden my phone rings, I let it go to voicemail. I look at my phone, I see it's my mom. I listen to the voicemail. She's distraught on the other end. So I give her a call back. And she picks up the phone and she's crying. And I say, Mom, what's the matter? My twin brother, Staff Sergeant Joe Granville, committed suicide. How can I get this second chance at life and have my own twin brother take his away? The next day I had to go to Joe's house. There's his wife, there's his kids. And the house is just full of people. Like friends from high school, friends we served with. Joe was once a corrections officer, so his CO buddies were there. And you can imagine the energy in this house. So what I did was, man, just seeing everybody like this, I'm like, okay, so like, what do we do now? It's now Sunday the 19th, tomorrow's Monday. Someone is going to be at the Armory. Joe is active duty at the time in the National Guard. He had an AGR job. So somebody's going to be at the Armory. I pointed at my cousin Paul and my best friend Dave Rivera growing up, who I both also served with. And I said, you guys want to go to the Armory? Great. We drove up to the Armory. There's my old readiness NCO, Sergeant Peterson. He gives me a hug, gives his condolences. There's Joe's desk. I grab a box. I empty out his desk. All right, cool. This is done. Sergeant Peterson, we have some paperwork to fill out for the Army. Perfect. Let's knock this out right now. I need you to go work with supply and make sure all of Joe's awards are up to date on his uniform because it's going to be an open casket, and I want him laid to rest in his dress blues. Perfect. I need you to go work with St. Rosalima Catholic Church, since my brother was Roman Catholic, and I want you to work with the logistics on that. I need you to come with me and work with Steph, his wife, and go pick out a casket at a priest's funeral home. And I just started delegating all these tasks moving forward. And I just kept my mind busy. But I'm not even processing what happened, even though here I am, setting up for his funeral. Does that make sense? Well, the day came to lay Joe to rest. And I walked up to that casket in my dress blues, give him a salute, and that's that. Now what? I'm sure you all heard of their idle hands is the devil. And that is so true. Because my mindset, in a more toxic way, went right back to making it all about me. Feeling sorry for myself, playing the victim, thinking the world owes me everything. You get nowhere playing a victim in life, I learned. And I was just Uncle Rico from Napoleon Dynamite. That guy just living in the past, reminding everybody about my military service, dysfunctional veteran. And it was just downhill and so unhealthy. There's a turning point though, and it didn't happen overnight. But my brother's wife, her and I became good friends. And she said to me, you know, Joe was very proud of things I was accomplishing after I lost my leg, like snowboarding, playing hockey, learning how to kayak, and learning that from Steph and one of his CO buddies, Ed. Like, I never knew that. We never had that type of relationship to compliment each other. So hearing that was a good feeling. I thought, if he was proud of me then, would he be proud of me now? Absolutely not. And a little motivation, like, you know, we go to the gym, all right? Then I joined a CrossFit box, and I got a running blade. And I started pushing myself to do more and more things and challenge myself physically. And this led to a passion in physical fitness. And eventually it led to doing obstacle course races. And my first ever Spartan race was 2013 in Wintergreen, Virginia. And the morning of getting my bib, there was these men and women in uniform. And one of them comes up to me and shakes my hand. And this gentleman, I know who he is. His name is Noah Galloway. And for anybody out there, if you don't know who Noah is, Noah was injured in Iraq, and the result was a loss of his left arm and his left leg, with his left leg identical to my amputation. Noah went on to be on Dancing with the Stars and the cover of Men's Health magazine. So I'm like, I know who this guy is. After I fangirl a little bit, I learned that he's with this organization of everybody else in uniform, which is Operation Enduring Warrior. And an OEW's mission is to honor, empower, and motivate our wounded and disabled veterans to live an active lifestyle. They're going to define themselves, and their injuries are not going to define who they are. And our mission is to help them find that. And Noah asked if I could run alongside him. And I was absolutely, I'm honored. So before we went to the starting line, we went to the side. I got to meet the rest of the team. And they pulled out of their little assault packs a gas mask. And they donned that mask, and off we go on the course. And like, these guys are rock stars. And after we got done with that 8-mile course, Noah asked me what I thought about joining the team. And I was so hesitant. I was like, I don't think I'm ready for something like that. However, after thinking about it for a bit, it's just like, you know, this man that I respect so very much is asking me to join his team. It's like I watched the Chicago Bulls my whole life. And I'm playing a pickup game, and here comes Michael Jordan asking me to be his point guard. You don't turn it down. But you don't just join the team. You got to earn a spot. And I'm not going to talk a lot about what we do to earn it, but just know it was outside of Fort Bragg, North Carolina for a weekend, and a lot of military-style evolutions. And I have to add, each team member is current or former military. So you get the idea of what this is like. And there was 10 people in my class, and half of them failed. And I happened to be one that finished. And after I earned my mask, my uniform, and my assault pack, and just reflecting on what this new journey is now, it's given me purpose. I'm once again part of something bigger than myself. I'm once again leading like I did in Iraq. And it opened my mind to think, this isn't about me. Once again, it's about us. And it made me realize of all the adversity I went through, and I started filling up voids that I lost when I took that uniform off. And it led me to be a public speaker, talking about, I feel, not just veterans, but every human being needs it in our lives. 3 P's we all need. You must have a purpose. You have to have a passion, and you must be part of something bigger than yourself. When I was in the Army, my purpose, I was a soldier in the United States Army. My passion, wearing that blue cord, arrogant infantryman. Part of something bigger than myself. Self-explanatory. And now my 3 Ps. My purpose, I'm a public speaker, discussing my ideas of battling adversity and never carrying the weight by yourself. My passion, physical fitness and traveling. Part of something bigger than myself, Operation Enduring Warrior, the Oscar Mike Foundation, the Spartan Race community. Things that push people forward and empower others. And the recipe to find those 3 Ps, a good attitude. Because I learned that dysfunctional veteran attitude is not going to get you anywhere in life. Comfort zone. If you stay stagnant, you will never find what you're looking for. You have to move forward. And number 3, the recipe, community. I've learned the power of community working for these charities. We're more than just helping a wounded veteran get through a Spartan race. It's more than the medal at the finish line. It's those relationships you build. And I have to say, we cannot control the bad things that happen to us in our lives. But we always have the power to react to it in the right way. That's all I got. Is there anything I missed?